The more detached from outcome you are, the more that outcome will attach itself to you. Now, this is due to vibrational resonance. When you are letting go of outcome, whether it's to attract love, abundance, a new job or opportunity, when you have let go of outcome, you have let go of resistance. You then allow that thing to come into your vision because it is in alignment with you. Now, anything you want vibrationally is bringing forth a reality that is equal to the reality where you want it. So it's, I want money. It's like the universe is like, yes, you do. You want money. Here are more realities where you can want money. Because want is an energetic attachment, an emotion that will bring you to more realities where you want that thing. Now, when I learned how to properly be non-attached and how to still be engaged with reality, and I understood what are called balancing forces within our reality, it completely changed everything about me. Interestingly enough, when you think of the quantum physics of this, what quantum physics shows us is that there are 11 to 15 million bits of information around us at any given moment, but we can only perceive of about 40 to 100 bits per second of information. Which means what you want to experience is already inside of your field. This is when quantum physics also shows us that everything is here and now. I've been looking more into this recently with understanding the fourth dimension and what we are learning about quantum physics in the sense that everything exists here and now. It's simply about tuning to the energetic field of it. But think of it. If we, as humans, we can only perceive between infrared to ultraviolet on the color spectrum. There are more colors. That's just what our senses perceive of. We are only able to see, touch, hear, smell, taste, that which is in alignment with the 40 to 100 bits of information that are inside our energetic field. There's information around us at every moment that could be completely different than the field that we're connected to. So for example, you may start to let go of the outcome of attracting love, and you might start to be the love. You might start to get into a flow state and love your life. You will then be more magnetic. There may be somebody already in your life that would then link up to. They're already there. The information is already there. It's just that it hasn't aligned because of the energetic field. Now, interestingly enough, the best my YouTube channel has ever done has been when I was the most detached from outcome, the most non-attached to outcome. It's when I was in a flow state. It's when I was creating content and just focused on allowing the information to come through and then adding value. And I was so in a flow state of making videos that then the growth just came. But I remember when I was first starting to grow on YouTube, I would start to get super analytical about, oh, things are growing. I'm growing by 500 subs a day. Oh my gosh. I would go check Social Blade, which is like this website where I could see the subscribers per day. Look. And then I knew I was energetically butchering up the energy of it by being attached to outcome. And then interestingly enough, it would always mirror my attachment. And the more attached, the more energetically resistance there was, and like the less it would do well. But the more I was in flow, the more I was allowing, the more it would just naturally do well. I'd be like, oh, cool. It's natural for my identity for it to be doing well. So it's a natural reflection of the degree to which you can become non-attached. So realize that within your energetic field, like if we want to attract money or love, those are energies. But we can only perceive of the energy that's active inside of our field. Out of the 11 to 15 million bits of information, we can only perceive that which we believe and that which we are embodying. Now, this also, by the way, perfectly connects that to a book that I've talked about before called Reality Transurfing. There's this idea in there called decrease importance. The more important you make anything, the more you put anything on a pedestal, the more you are saying this thing is not equal to my reality. So what you do is you realize that your current identity is trying to get its needs met through the external. It's trying to get its needs met by controlling reality. And controlling reality creates resistance. It'd be like trying to control the ocean waves. It's like, stop, waves, stop from coming. And you would just sit there in the middle of the ocean going, stop to the wave. When instead, if you were to be in non-resistance, not attachment, floating around, you could then ride the wave into the shore. You see, there's a different way you go about reality when you know and you learn what I'm talking about when it comes to matching the frequency of your dream reality. Now, the first thing to understand is the reality you want to experience already exists. It's about you energetically tuning to it and seeing yourself as that version of you and embodying the emotion and the flow state of it. So when I talked about reality transurfing and I talked about increased importance and anything you make important, you are saying that out of all these parallel realities, all the 11 to 15 million bits of information, the one that is equal to me is this really important one, which keeps, because there's this balancing forces in the universe that need to balance things out. So if you put something on a pedestal, it creates that distance. And of course, that thing isn't equal to you. So to balance it out, it won't give it to you until you learn the lesson of importance. Now, one of the main things to understand about this is that when you are focused on the end result, or things are a means to an end, instead of focusing on things being an end of itself, what we end up doing is putting pressure, trying to control, and resisting. Now you're like, well, what's the solution then? Somebody commented on one of my Instagram posts where I'm talking about what's called the backwards law. The backwards law is something Alan Watts made famous. It's from a Chinese proverb that has to do with the more you want, the more you chase, the more you block, the more you resist. The harder you try, the less you are. The more you try to control, the more out of control you will feel. And it's this paradox. And somebody said, well, isn't that like the opposite of the law of attraction? Well, understand that the law of attraction, many times as well, it's I want, which means I lack. But ultimately, it's not about thinking better thoughts. It's about who are you being. And when you are being a version of you that is naturally magnetic, that is naturally abundant, you won't try to control reality because of the scarcity. Now let's take this a step further. When we talk about scarcity, and we're gonna go deep here. Do you want to go deep? Let's do this. So when we talk about scarcity, understand that very powerfully, something that would influence our reality is the replayed energy from 0 to 7 years old that is between the mother-father-child dynamic. So mother energy many times can represent that of relational energy. Because our mom is our connection, our first connection to this world. And father can represent abundance. If I were to do this, maybe make it a little more simple. Abundance, protection, purpose. And then the child, this dynamic, and our parents also represent authority to us. So back in the day, if we did not feel seen, heard, soothed, or nurtured as kids, we may believe that there is a scarcity in the world. There is scarcity of love. There is scarcity of money. There is scarcity of abundance. Someone else's success means our lack of success. So when we are in a scarcity paradigm, we try to control. Imagine if you lived on an island where there was an abundance of fruit, an abundance of food, an abundance of love, and you saw somebody else successful or somebody enjoying fruit, and there's a huge mountain of fruit behind you, you're not going to be like, oh, That's my fruit. I want that fruit. Oh, I'm so jealous they have that fruit. You'd be like, oh, I'm just going to grab this fruit behind me. So in the same way, we have been led to believe that in childhood, between mother, father, child dynamic, from 0 to 7 years old, when we're primarily in a theta state, we have believed in scarcity. We believe that since my needs aren't met, I must meet my needs. So the paradox, similar to the backwards law, is that to get my needs met, I will control. To get my needs met, I will try to control relationships, try to control money in abundance. And guess what happens when you try to control? You put things on a pedestal, you make it important, you resist. And what you resist, you block. You want to allow things to be natural for you. So one of the most powerful things I'd recommend you do is to actually start to realize that there is only abundance in our reality. When you realize you can let go, like think about it. The real reason you're attached is because you believe there is scarcity. You believe in a scarce society. You believe there's a scarce amount of love. You believe there's a scarce amount of abundance. So that's why you must stay attached. But if you look at scarcity and abundance in a new way, it may completely change your life and what I'm about to share with you. Now understand that in reality, out of the 11 to 15 million bits of information, there is abundance all around us. There's information all around us. You are 99.9% of everything we see in reality is mainly empty space. Isn't that interesting to think about? 99.9% of who you are and the atoms in your body are empty space. You are more nothing than something. And so am I, and so is everybody. But what we perceive of is what's active. That 0.001% is what's active. Now, what's interesting is out of the 11 to 15 million bits of information, there's abundance everywhere. But if we believe there is lack, we are tuned to the illusion of lack in our field. There's an abundance of lack. Lack, if you think of lack as part of the abundance of the 11 to 15 million bits of information, you can think of it like you're tuning to the abundance. Look at how much lack there is. A whole bunch of it because you're focused on it, because it's active within your energy field, because there's an attachment to a belief system that is not in alignment with reality. So what I'm trying to do here is to help you wake up to understand that there's an abundance of everything. You've just maybe been primed in 0 to 7 years old for the mother-father-child dynamic to believe in scarcity. Because if there's a scarcity amount of mom or dad's attention, how do I get my needs met? You know, as kids, if you have siblings, could be the mom's attention, there's a scarce amount of it. Her gaze, her eyes can only look at one kid at a time. Why is she looking over there at him or her? Scarcity. Mom or dad's approval. How can I get it? And then you move your frame and you stay attached because it's become a survival mechanism. Really, staying attached to outcome is a survival mechanism you use to get your needs met. The thing is it doesn't actually meet your needs because it doesn't actually work. You can only control for so long before you just have no more energy. And you realize that you're actually repelling that which you want. You try to control a relationship. Prove me wrong here. Try to get someone that isn't interested in you. Try. Try really hard. And what you'll find is that the harder you try, the more repelling of them you are. And you want to know the funny thing is the less you try, the less attached you are, the more magnetic you will be. Isn't that funny? The less you try, the more you are. The less attached you are, the more that thing will attach itself to you. The only reason you're so attached is because you believe in scarcity. Maybe even that scarcity feels familiar. And if you were to have an abundance, it would negate your actual belief that there is love, that there are people that could love you, that there is abundance all around you. Sometimes we want to be right about reality. Yes, see, there's scarcity. We want to be right about victim stories of this happens to me. There's a scarcity of love and abundance. Don't you see? I can't trust men or women. These beliefs want to be on autopilot because they feel safe and familiar. we're going back to the primordial home of what we decided when we were 0 to 7 years old, and that's where we want to be. This is my reality. There's a scarce amount of resources here. And what I am trying and intending to do, but I'm not trying that hard. I'm trying really hard to help you understand scarcity. The harder I try, the more you think, no, it's not working. But you want to know what's funny is when it comes to a flow state, things just come through. Talk about reality transurfing, we talk about balanced forces. When the ego is not trying, it's just being, it's the most magnetic version of itself. And it's the most enjoyable. Like imagine things can be easy because you're not trying so hard. Imagine there's an effortless way to go about reality, but you simply believed that you, as the ego, had to do everything. It is your job as the ego that believes in separation to control this mighty universe. Go into the ocean in front of the wave and put your hand up like this and say, thou shalt not pass. And watch that wave hit you over and over again because of the lack of awareness. Boo, don't you know that's not how it works? It sounds silly, doesn't it? To imagine someone going out to the ocean and like, I'm going to stop the waves from coming. No. And then it's like, I'm going to control everything. This is my little box. You're not getting through, wave. This vast ocean, symbolic metaphor of the universe. No. You're going to stop right here. And then, of course, the waves just come and just pounce you. And no, then we can complain about it. No, see, the universe never gives me what I want. You say the universe isn't meaning. There's a scarce amount of stuff here. And then the universe just keeps doing that because you haven't gone with the flow and let it carry you into the beach. But you can just relax. Stop fighting the waves for so long. And then you get to stay in your stories of, you see, it's not personal. Like mom or dad not able to meet your needs when you were a kid, it's not personal. Just like the ocean that's constantly having waves come and you're like, no, don't, stop. And it just keeps coming. You're like, see, the universe doesn't like me. See? Understand your parents came into this world with their own genetic stuff, their own ancestral stuff to deal with, their own energies to deal with. But as kids, we internalize everything. Mom and dad divorced because I'm not worthy. I must stay attached to trying to get my needs met. So what is the solution to this whole entire process? Is it to keep fighting the waves of the ocean, to sit there in the big, vast ocean fighting? No. And then try to control and go, see, you need to do this. You need to come over here. Why don't you just like me? No, of course. Let go. Start allowing the flow to come through you. So non-attachment is about stop believing there is scarcity. If there is scarcity, there's a lot of scarcity. If there is lack, there's a lot of lack. You are tuned to the 11 to 15 million bits of information. You are tuned literally to only the 40 to 100 bits that say there's scarcity, there's scarcity, there's scarcity. And there's beliefs that reality is this way because it's just how things are. No, you have beliefs and stories about reality that keep it that way. If you were to believe in abundance truly, that you're on an island, or this island, you're not landlocked on an island, you're on this big, gigantic plot of land with an abundance of pineapple and fruit around you, and whatever else you love eating, an abundance of love, of connection, you wouldn't be like, they're talking to them. No. Oh my God, I want that fruit. You just look behind you and be like, oh, I'm already abundant. Oh, I just simply was only picking up on the 11 to 15 million bits of information. I was only picking up the 40 to 100 bits where I was on a certain subset of the island where I couldn't see all the fruit. I couldn't see all the love. And we wake up when we realize we must first energetically tune to it by letting go, by stop projecting onto reality that it must meet our needs. Become okay with where you are and focus on the healing of your own inner child from 0 to 7 years old. Now, if you go into my free community called High Vibe Tribe, I have workshops in there for free. I have that of inner child meditations for free and breathwork for free that you can go through that will help you transform all of this energy and repattern your nervous system to more love and light. So you can check that out by clicking the link below. And then also, if you want to learn how to actually match the frequency of your dream reality and step-by-step what to do, watch this right here. People that are not attached have a more magnetic energy